You know, the old saying, we teach what we need to learn. What our mission is in this life, whether we know it or not, we end up, challenges in life because this is what we need to give back to the world. This is why we're here.
I was just asked the other day by someone new to us if I was the Forbidden Doctor. Well, of course, I said no. The Forbidden Doctor is not me at all.
We are not the Forbidden Doctor. Jack is not the Forbidden Doctor. It's in you.
The Forbidden Doctor is that magical, mystical power inside of you that is controlling and healing everything.
It's that beautiful, marvelous, almost miraculous force that controls all healing.
It's that innate intelligence, that life force-directed influence that triggered your DNA to guide the building of your body after conception.
Yeah, it's that power that sustains your life, repairs your wounds and lesions, and it never stops working. It's that essential part of you that keeps you alive and heals your every hurt.
This is the Forbidden Doctor. It's not me. It's that part of you the powers that be have decreed forbidden to ever learn about or even consider, and never ever rely upon. For it is forbidden that you even know this life force exists at all.
You are your own Forbidden Doctor.
Yes.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jack.
And Mary.
And welcome back to the Forbidden Doctor podcast. This is podcast episode 181, a survivor story of incurable cancer 2005. It's 2019 and he's still alive.
This is so exciting. That was a cute little poem you did.
Yes, I spent all night writing that little couplet or whatever they call it.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Yes,
there we go.
Yes, Joseph, we are so thrilled. You're still here and still alive and we're able to talk to you. You first did a podcast. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I am. I'm very, very well. Yes.
Okay, wait, what podcast was this?
It was number 95, and this is episode 181.
Yeah. Also, this is half the way,
almost
halfway through. A couple of years ago, we talked to Joseph a couple of years ago about his experience with cancer, starting in 2005, and he's still alive.
Yeah, and this is so exciting because honestly, I went back and listened to number 95, Survivor's Story of Incurable Cancer. And honestly, we should just put that back up. It is such a good podcast. It's our most listened to next to our heart podcasts.
We've done several on the heart. We've done a few on cancer.
And that's serendipitous because you are now the major trainer for our heart sound recorder that we have in our office.
Yeah, and we have a podcast on the HSR, the heart sound recorder. And so we want to make that part of the featured aspect of this podcast this time of Joseph. But we'd also like to know how he's feeling, because it's one thing to be told that you have incurable cancer. It's another thing to say, well, heck with that. I'm going, it's not going to get me. And, real briefly, Joseph, maybe 5-10 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
Sure.
But before we do that, I want to just...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
we have a sponsor.
Yeah, we'd like to introduce our new sponsor to the Forbidden Doctor podcast. We found one that doesn't conflict with what we believe, this forbidden information we bring you. It's called Cashback World. And this sponsor doesn't just help keep our podcast on the air, but it helps you, the listeners. This free app gives you cash back in your pocket when you shop, and all you have to do is shop.
Yes.
So why not use this app and get cash back? Go to a website called whynotgetcashback.com to register and download the free cashback app.
Yes. And no strings attached. Nobody's going to bother you. Nobody's going to, get in your way. It's just an incredible app. There's a couple of videos there at whynotgetcashback.com to show you how to register and how to use it.
Okay, so back to you, Joseph. This podcast is all about you because we're so thrilled you're still here.
You're friends, one of our good mentors.
You were told this was an incurable cancer. I think they called it follicular lymphoma.
That's correct. So it's a non-Hodgkin's type lymphoma. So there are different types of lymphoma. Of course, you see the ads on TV about Roundup now causing different types of lymphoma. So over that, getting into the spray of that. And so, yes, so my type was because what happens in my type is the lymphatics grow so large, they begin to impede organ function.
Right.
And then it goes into your bloodstream. So it would definitely be something that would again transfer to my whole system.
So now, why did the lymphatics enlarge?
Because it's not the fluid in the lymph node. It is the lymph node itself, the follicle. That's why it's called follicular.
Okay.
And so literally the parameters of the lymph node itself develop rogue cells and then begin to spread.
Yes.
And that came out of an infection that I had in when I was a child. So a very severe. I was on antibiotics, I think I said in the other one, for 2 years when I was a child. So it came out of a strep infection. And the strep infection came after I was vaccinated. And so I told that whole story on the other one.
You did. You were a very healthy child. Everything was going great. You were nursed.
Right.
And then you got vaccinated and your health just went down. And also, I think this has a lot to do with the pancreatic insufficiency, which wasn't a thing back when we recorded our podcast. But now it's a new disease, pancreatic insufficiency.
Enzyme insufficiency, yes.
Yes, enzyme. Your pancreas.
Yeah, particularly with cancer, it's trypsin and chymotrypsin.
Yes.
Now, there was a PhD medical doctor in the 1900s, Dr. Beard, and I don't know if you gave them any of the PDFs that go with that information about what his hypothesis.
No,
but the case is still true. Everyone that has cancer or has had cancer, they have this deficiency in their pancreas. For some reason, genetically, whatever, I do not make either any or enough trypsin and chymotrypsin. That is what helps to regulate rogue cells. Mm-hmm. Now, those cells can start as fibrotic.
Right.
Yes.
Like my breasts.
Yeah, fibrotic breast disease, that's right. Fibroids in the uterus, fibrotic tissue, the male prostate.
Yeah.
The reason men get prostate hypertrophy, swelling in the prostate, is because the tissue turns fibrotic. Here again is the enzymes. And here again is the inability for the body to receive enough calcium to maintain the integrity of that tissue so it doesn't become fibrotic. So as Jack and Mary have taught you, you need the vitamin F factor to deliver that calcium into that tissue. It's hard to get calcium into the prostate. There's not a lot of blood flow there. So it's hard. And so this fibrotic pattern is a precursor to cancer cells.
Well, let's go back a little bit because we just jumped right into this. I want to introduce you a little, Joseph. Many people don't know you. If you did listen to our podcast number 95, A Survivor's Story of Incurable Cancer, then you know Joseph. And we introduced you really nicely there. We had slides and pictures and everything. This one is just audio, but you are our mentor. You are who I listen to 3 times a week. I listen to your wonderful heart sound recorder podcast. But you have been with Standard Process for, 40 years now?
47 years. I started in 1972, before you were born, Mary.
I wasn't born then. So, yes, and so you've been doing this your whole life, and we were talking about this off air, how people think when you're in the healing field that you never get sick, you never have health problems, you never anything. But this pancreatic insufficiency that is actually rampant, your pancreas stops producing as many enzymes when you reach age 40 as it used to. And that's why we age so quickly after age 40. You know how you can tell somebody's in their 40s versus you can't really tell if somebody's in their 20s or in their 30s. It's like, well, yeah, she's probably in her 30s. But once they hit 40, everybody's like, oh, yeah, she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
Because we age so quickly when our pancreas does not produce those enzymes. And so, we produced our long life energy enzyme product that helps with this. It certainly helped Jack's pancreas. And you have brought this to Standard Process. You brought it to the world. You have been so open in sharing this, even though you're a healthcare provider. I mean, you have been teaching health for so long. We still get sick.
Well, the old saying, we teach what we need to learn. What our mission is in this life, whether we know it or not, we end up, challenges in life because this is what we need to give back to the world. This is why we're here. And so, so having physician heal thyself. That is the key. And I might have said it on the podcast, but this changed my life for the better. Yeah. I have to walk the straight and narrow. I can't get away with what I used to. Yeah. And I still, to this day, I take my pancreatic enzymes every day. I never miss. Yeah. I never miss because when you have cancer, there is still that remnant of memory, cellular memory, where you don't want to go back to having that fear that this thing is growing inside of me. This thing could kill me. All of these fears.
Yeah, so, we don't need that internal emotional mindset, vibration of fear. Right. Because that will change the body's chemistry to something less than a wholeness type of expression. Right. And it can actually lose ground and go backwards.
That's right. And, you had asked me, Jack, to just basically outline 3 things that I still do. So number one is I still take the pancreatic enzymes because it doesn't make me a bad practitioner. It's just the hand I was dealt. I just don't have them. Yeah. And everyone that, as I say, is dealing with cancer or these fibrotic cells, they need to face that reality. They just don't have that. We need that. They need your product. They need those enzymes. So there's number one. Number 2 is you have to still have something where these cells, what medically, what do they do? Chemotherapy. Well, why not use a natural chemotherapy, which is the apricot kernels? Yeah. The apricot kernels, and just take them every day instead of eating 10 almonds or 7 almonds a day like Adele Davis taught. I have 7 apricot kernels a day to this day. Wow. I'm faithful to that. And then the third thing, of course, is I love myself first before I can love any. To the extent we love others and care for others, is the extent that we pass that to ourselves first. So the modalities I use chiropractic. I go for a massage. I'm starting foot reflexology, and I take my supplements. But my supplement program all centers around creating that foundational strength with my immune system. So anyway, Jack, you had asked me, what are the 3 areas, that you still to this day, you honor every day? So.
Well, I really appreciate that because there's so much fear surrounding cancer. And we talked about that in the first podcast, and we try to find these magic cures, even the apricot seeds or even the enzymes or whatever. And it's not, or cleansing like crazy. We just start doing juicing like insane. But what what our clinic and what our philosophy is that you build from the inside out and you support the organs of excretion. You don't need to cleanse like a maniac. You need to support and rebuild those organs of excretion so they can do their job way better than any kind of forceful cleanse that you can put yourself through.
That's right. In that is mainly targeting the lymphatic system. So here it goes back. Remember, you have twice as many. What's that, Jack?
That's the sewer system of the body.
Yeah, you have twice as many lymph vessels than blood vessels.
Yes.
Twice, 2 to 1. That's how the body values, and that material that gets into your lymph system never goes back into your bloodstream. It goes back to your liver, which is what Mary was saying, the organs of excretion. You want your liver to dump into the bowel, into the kidneys, get it out so it doesn't go back into the sacred space or the place of the blood. The bloodstream is sacred. It can't have anything that defiles in there, and it won't. But this is why, regular lymphatic care. I had one teacher that said, now this is pretty far out there, but I got the point. He said, if you could keep your lymphatic system healthy, you could live for hundreds of years.
I often say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And, we're the drugs, there aren't a whole lot of drugs out there for the lymphatic system, but how many drugs are there for the heart, the beta blockers, the energic drugs, the calcium channel blockers, the hypertension drugs. And so most of the commercials on TV that talk about something to do with the body are either suppressing the immune system because of autoimmune problems or some kind of heart drugs. We never hear that much in the public media regarding the lymphatic system, but you have tremendous lymphatic involvement with the small and large intestine, tremendous lymphatic. Well, as you said, there's two vessels of lymph for every blood vessel,
right?
Because the body is constantly having to get rid of the metabolites of protein digestion, of cellular respiration inside the cells, whether it's brain cells, heart cells, liver cells, ovary cells. They are constantly taking in food and giving off the metabolites of that food, the trash. And just imagine, every Monday morning, I have to take the garbage from the house up the lane, up to the street to be taken away. When I get home at night, without a second thought, I go get that empty trash can, bring it back into the garage where it's going to sit for another week. Now, what if the garbage truck stopped coming? Or what if the garbage truck only came once a month instead of once a week? Or what if suddenly there's 25 people in the house where now there's just 2 and we can't even get the garbage from the house out to the street? The same thing happens inside the body when we start mucking up the system. We have a mindset of, slavery to the system, and I can't get ahead, all the kinds of negative thinking that we have. We eat foods that do not stimulate cellular respiration, that allows the cell walls to function properly with food coming in and waste material getting out. We end up with a sedentary lifestyle that doesn't stimulate lymphatic flow, which is why those rebounders are so effective, or just a good brisk walk of 10 to 15 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week. And we end up, we sit at an office all day at work, then we come home, sit on a couch and watch TV till we fall asleep. All these things brought together end up simply backing up the garbage.
I just read an article, Jack. This is so significant what you're saying. I just read an article. I'm going to read it to my group tomorrow on Saturday. They're saying now, if you do not exercise every 9 hours, you will not live as long.
Wow.
So, think of the lymphatic system. We have that moves the blood through the system. We have a heart that pumps and moves that blood. The lymphatic system has no pump.
You've got to,
Only, as you were saying, Jack, through exercise, through breathings, any type of yogic deep breathing. And, and most people don't even know how to breathe correctly.
No.
But walking every day, And that's the one thing ever since I got cancer, because I used to be a runner. I used to run 3 to 6 miles a day, but after cancer, I just don't have that. And as Mary was saying, the age, you just can't, then it takes its toll on your feet and knees and hips. So I walk 3 miles a day. Then at the end of the day, I do 10 flights of stairs up and down from my basement upstairs. Wow. So I do it twice a day. This article said the same exact thing. You can't just even exercise once a day. You've got to do it twice.
Every 9 hours.
Yes, that's according to the article.
And now we get in cars and run around. And we used to just, bounce on horses.
Yeah, well, Jack, as you said, the trampoline is great. And the other thing that you said, Jack, is people don't drink enough water.
No.
And, it's a real problem. Dehydration is so huge.
Yeah, I on a national radio show, not this week, but last week when I was on at the Doug Steffen Show, they were talking about benefits of caffeine and the downside of caffeine. And I said, well, if you're going to drink a cup a day, make sure it's organic. And you don't need more than a cup, because with the coffee and tea and sports drinks and all the other caffeinated products that are out there keep you in a constant state of dehydration.
Exactly.
Because of the diuretic effect. And I said, as you people who drink socially and maybe only drink once a month or at a party or something, and they know that if they want to wake up the next morning feeling good, they're going to drink a glass of water for every glass of beer or every cocktail. Right. They need a glass of water. I said, you need to do the same thing with your caffeinated drinks, because you're going to lose more water than you're drinking in that cup of coffee because of the diuretic effect. So if you're going to have 2 or 3 cups of coffee at work, you have 2 or 3 glasses of water that go right behind it, and any other kind of caffeine, because you can't, just imagine your garbage can never getting washed out. Imagine that whatever area of your house that the garbage collects before you get rid of it, and it never gets sanitized, never gets cleaned out, never gets washed.
Bacteria builds up, yeah.
The bacteria builds up, the viral aspect builds up, the insects build up. Well, on a minor degree, the bacteria and the viruses in your body are like the rats and the mice and the insects and the roaches and everything else that build up on a macro level. And water is so vital to keep that sewer system moving.
And Mary said something so key about organs of drainage, because the kidneys, so when that lymphatic debris, whatever's in there, comes back to the liver, if the liver can't get it out through the bowels, whose bowels work effectively? I mean, just think about it. Forget about it, The liver sends that material to the kidneys. So, my teacher, John Courtney, said, Joe, whenever you think of lymphatic drainage, you must remember the kidneys, because the kidneys are going to get that material out. Otherwise, it's going to go back into the bloodstream.
Yeah, there's a tremendous lymphatic duct that feeds the kidneys.
Oh, I didn't even know that. There you go.
There's a lymphatic duct that feeds the liver. The lymph, the lymph is bred by serum and plasma fluid coming out of the bloodstream as it goes into the tissues, but it won't get back in, as you said, because there are guards that stop that from happening to keep the blood pure. Your body will beg, borrow, steal, do anything it can to keep that blood as clean as possible. But that lymph has to come back in somewhere. And it doesn't just run down the inside of your body like rainwater does down the window on the outside of your house. There are ducts, especially the thoracic duct, that dumps this fluid back into the system, primarily through the liver. And there's also a ductal feed to the kidneys, because we have this system that we're just not all that knowledgeable about, because we don't pay that much attention to it like we do the blood. But we do have a regular river flow out of the bloodstream into the tissues, bathing every single cell with this lymphatic fluid, and then a collection system that brings it back into the dumping ground, which is going to be primarily, as you said, of course, and the liver and the kidneys being the major part, but also the skin, also the lungs. A lot of fat buildup that takes place in the gut that the gut can't handle because of insufficient bile will, through the thoracic duct, get to the lungs so that the body can cough a lot of this fatty material out, which is why some people have a perpetual cough that they can't seem to bring under control. Yeah. So the body is constantly getting rid of garbage, as well as it signals hunger when it needs to be fed.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my two mentors here, my two favorite mentors.
Oh. Dr. Somebody over there with you, Joseph? I thought
you're very kind. You're very kind.
Yeah, truly it is. And I often say excretion is the first rule of the body, but, you know, digestion,
I think
excretion.
That's a good thing to say.
Yeah, you know, I don't even know if it's true. I think I made it up years ago, but I think it's so critical to support those organs of excretion. And then, of course, digestion is the first. I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but you know, you've got to be able to digest your food, and then you've got to be able to excrete the toxins and everything. Yeah, well,
most of the filtration that takes place in the liver, of course, is coming through the blood, through the portal system. Most of the filtration of the kidney is the blood, again, running through the glomerular capsules, of which you have millions in each kidney, just tiny little filter systems. Mm-hmm. And once they're working fine, the only thing that goes out the other side is fluid, uric acid, and a couple other things. And red blood cells, proteins stay inside. But there's also a lymphatic connection to these organs that are every bit as important, in my opinion.
Well, as you said, Jack, most of the lymph system is around the bowel. It's around the small and large intestine. I mean, there's lymph in your groin and back of your knee. A lot of knee issues is lymphatic issues, which people don't realize. And then, of course, up around your neck is, where
that's why, that's when we get sick, especially with a viral infection. These lymph nodes will, of course, with bacteria as well, but especially virus, these lymph nodes will swell up.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked on the other, I didn't get to listen to the entire podcast, the last one you did with us, but did we talk about Anita Moorjani and her lymphoma? Do you know who Anita Moorjani is?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that on the other one.
Podcast 101, we talk about Anita Moorjani with Bruce Lipton and the epigenetics. And she had the lymphoma, just tremendous lymphoma, because I love the third thing that you said that you're doing is taking care of your soul, basically. Loving yourself. Yeah. And I wanted to kind of segue that into your cancer protocol that we handed out in our in the other podcast, number 95. And I just wanted to ask you, has that changed much? Are you still on that? It's really basic foundational things. And
No, I have not. I have not changed it. The basic protocol would be calcium lactate, cataplex C, and F, and then Immuplex, and then Arginex for the kidneys.
Yeah.
So
now, people who are listening to this, we're not offering this as a cure for cancer.
No. This is just what I did.
The body's
That's
ability.
why I said it was super foundational.
Right. Yeah, very foundational. This is not a cure. We do not cure cancer in our clinic. We do not treat cancer in our clinic.
Yeah.
However, we do what we can best to support the immune system's response to the presence of cancer in the body.
That's right. And there's a lot of products like Arginex. I use a form of Arginex, and that has that ability to stop the cancer cells. The cancer cells create these hair-like protrusions from the cancer cell. They're called fungal protein tubules.
Yeah.
And they will attach to a normal cell and then corrupt that cell. Well, there's an enzyme in Arginex that destroys that tubule.
Yeah, so any good picture of a cancer cell that you can see, electron microscope especially, you will see these little tubules that Joseph's talking about.
Fungal protein, what did you call them?
Fungal protein tubules. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why cancer, of course, comes from the Latin word that means crab. Because when they first started to see these things under a macro cancer growing inside the body, when they would open it up on autopsy or whatever else, hundreds of years ago, it looked like all these tentacles and arms coming off of it looked like a crab. But the cell itself, not just the huge accumulation of cancer cells, but the cancer cell itself often has these kinds of characteristics, these tubules.
Yeah, and there's other things that I do. I have an herbal blend that I use.
I love that.
I call it my winter blend. I don't call it a cancer blend because I am not trying, as you said, Jack, I'm not trying to get rid of cancer. I am just trying. My intent is to keep my immune system healthy. So I'm just supporting my.
For you.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'll make a protocol on our website that all you guys out there can search, and I'm going to call it Joseph Antell's Winter Blend.
Yes.
And if you will give me those ingredients, I think I have them somewhere. I think I've even made it.
It's very simple. It's burdock.
Okay.
It's burdock. It's echinacea.
Okay.
And it's what's the third one here? Astragalus.
Oh, yes.
And it used to have cat's claw, but you can't get cat's claw anymore, unfortunately.
That's critical too.
I know it. Well, it's an endangered species and it just doesn't grow now. It's unfortunately.
It's so weird how a plant could be endangered.
Yeah, well, it's overuse. They
Weeds
don't.
in our yard are endangered.
Yeah.
I collect them every time I see one.
Well, there are some cat's claws out there on the market. Do you know anything about them? Are they?
I don't think they are what they say they are. According to MediHerb, you cannot get true cat's claw anymore. Yeah, as far as I know. So it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Well, okay.
But even things, like the Immuplex, we talked about the lymphatic system not having a pump, but the lymphatic system has a brain, and that focuses on the thymus, the spleen, and the bone marrow.
Yes.
And so that support is all in Immuplex.
Yeah.
That's why Immuplex is such a great, because it really isn't an immune system. It's an immune alliance, from the gut health that you all teach to lymphatic health. The different systems of the body really are what is so key to keeping all of these first pathogens away and keeping them in balance and keeping the whole system healthy. So,
yeah, we did a podcast on that, what to do before, during, and after the flu. And we really, of course, emphasize Immuplex. It's just an amazing product.
Yeah, and keeping your system on just slightly on that acidic side. You don't want that, all of this sales of alkaline water and all of this, people don't understand. If they understood this, and you've taught this anyway, Jack, and Mary, you've taught people about this, but people have to understand that, here's an article, I'll just read 2 sentences. Abnormally high intracellular alkalization is a well-documented phenotype in tumor cells.
Yes.
And this study goes on to tell you that your even though your blood is slightly alkaline, as you teach, Jack, but the rest of your system should be on the acidic side. So
absolutely. Yeah. And
well, and you don't get to choose that. Your body does this. You eat the foods that you crave, of mostly meat, eggs, fish, dairy, and spices, and any others that you crave. Now, I'm not talking about unusual cravings or abnormal cravings like sugar and pasta and
right
pizza and on those. You eat what you crave, and your body keeps this alkaline, acidic balance in perfect balance, and you don't have to worry about it. And you need to get out there and just create and follow your heart and follow your loves and love, and just love the rest of your life. And love the food you eat. Don't be a slave to the food you eat. And then, of course, the excretionary aspect is what will be so greatly helped from you eating supportive foods, mostly fat and protein, that can rebuild the organs inside of you. This is the forbidden stuff that nobody ever tells anybody.
Right. And the hunter-gatherer diet, which is basically the paleo. Now, there may be others that you recommend, but basically what we're programmed to eat does do this. If you eat a true paleo diet, you keep that acid alkaline balance throughout your whole system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's break it all down, the foods that you should eat, and stay away from the grains and starches and fruits, because those are more civilization foods. Those weren't the foods in the wild that you got, so
to our animals.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
the level that we are. I was just talking to a guy 2 days ago whose wife and daughter came down with some very weird disease. They've spent over $100,000 going to clinics. They've gone up to other states, all these natural healings, they've done some medical healings too. And I said, because I was talking to him about, maybe she could come into our clinic, whatever. He says, oh, we don't have any money to do that. And I said, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a golden piece, the golden egg right here. This is what she needs to do. And it's cheap and it's inexpensive. You tell her to get off those green drinks and to eat mostly meat, eggs, fish, and dairy and spices as raw as she can. Very clean, very good animal foods, the easiest to digest foods. And that's all she needs to do. I mean, supplementation would be wonderful. I'd love to have her come in and have whole food supplementation like we have in our clinic from Standard Process. But I'm telling you, if she just did that, if we weren't so brainwashed in this country, eat what is the saying? Mostly plants, eat clean,
it's the forks over knives thinking.
And I said to him, he just laughed out loud. I said, do you ever drive home from work at night and go, oh, I can't wait till I get home to that big steamed bowl of broccoli with no butter and no salt on it? Because butter and salt will kill you.
Or I can't wait for that salad with no dressing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So anyway,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, some of these things we can't get in our diet. Like iodine, we're in the goiter belt here, and the enzymes, and we have propensities. And I'm just so thrilled that we have Standard Process. But for Dr. Royal Lee, I would not be here, Joseph.
No, nor would I.
Nor would you, maybe. And I think Standard Process, I'm so thrilled with them. If you can tell us a little bit of a history, in about 1992, when Dr. Lee's wife died, wasn't there like a big uproar where we almost lost Standard Process?
Well, they weren't struggling as a company in the sense of losing money. They just weren't making money. So Mrs. Lee, as brilliant woman as she was, a brilliant businesswoman. So Lee had kelp farms. He had, 2 lines going, one line for the pharmacies and the medical doctors, and one line for the other modalities like primarily chiropractic. So she just combined it. There was just so much that they were doing that was not necessary. They had the first health food store line, the Peak products. They had brewer's yeast. They had molasses. They had honey. There were things that they. So she got rid of that, and then of course he had so many because he was such an amazing inventor. They sold the Lee Engineering Company. And so she was able to trim and streamline that down so they could just focus on growing whole food supplements. Now, I was at 90% of the raw materials in these products they're grown on their farms.
Right.
You can visit their farms.
Yeah,
they don't hide anything. You can't say that of other vitamin companies. You can't go see their farms. Now, they're not going to tell you how formulations, like how they make the protomorphogens, that's all top secret. But you can go and see their farms and visit them and have a tour, So,
we just got an invitation to the 90th
Lyceum.
Anniversary.
Yeah, Lyceum.
Lyceum.
Yeah, or you can eat heart, or you can eat liver. That's what I was trying to tell this guy with his wife. And I said, he says, well, I don't know if I can, get my wife. I said, you're paying for this treatment too. You've spent $100,000. You get a say in this also. She needs to listen to some of these things because what she's doing isn't working. She's not getting better. So you can do this very simply. And that's what I love about Standard Process is that it's just all real foods, as Dr. Lee always said, the unknown factors inside of food, and we try to pull out pieces of it, and we try
right. And to understand this more, you can go on to SeleneRiverPress.com and go into their historical archives. You can read Dr. Lee and these other teachers. You can see what they were saying about food, about nutrition that has been wiped. Other than what you all are doing with your podcast, who is teaching the old ways? Who's teaching?
On my local radio show that I did just this last Wednesday, I do it every Wednesday morning in Salt Lake. I talk about I quoted a vitamin book, I think from 1943 or 47. I think the last edition was in 1953. And it was the therapeutic use of vitamins for disease factors.
Right.
And it's not in print anymore. You won't find any other books like this unless you go to SeleneRiverPress.com or to the WestonAPrice.org. They have a lot of this information. But the example I used was that in med school today, they'll teach you that, vitamin B1 deficiencies, thiamine, can lead to beriberi, and I explained what beriberi was and the paralytic aspects of it. You can, if you get a vitamin B deficient, B2, you're going to, of riboflavin, the chelosis that can form in the corners of the mouth and the other kinds of problems. Right. The vitamin B3 niacin problems that are associated with pellagra. And these deficiencies will lead to those vitamin deficiencies will lead to those diseases. But what they're not taught is that an abundance of those vitamins from a whole food source will cure those disease processes and actually cure them. And that's the kind of knowledge that's been missing since the year I was born, 1950. You just don't hear this stuff anymore. Yeah. Everything now is pharmaceuticals and forks over knives and alkaline water and antioxidants and
piling up like manure in a barnyard.
There you go.
Mark Anderson would say.
and the net result is greater death rate from all-cause mortality.
Well, here I have this quote right on my desk here. One of the biggest tragedies of human civilization is the procedure of chemical therapy over nutrition. It's the substitution of artificial therapy over natural, of poison over food, in which we are feeding people poisons, trying to correct the reaction to starvation. But who is teaching this?
Very few people are. Well, I'll tell you, Standard Process West is certainly teaching it.
Yes.
Well, we teach it to practitioners, but the practitioners need to pass this on and teach it to their clients.
Yes.
And
we should be standing here just in awe. This is so stunning that you had this cancer and you're here, 2019. You were diagnosed in 2007, and you're standing here and you had the PET scans until 2011, I think, right?
Yeah, I had 3, but I stopped because it's just too much invasion of poison again.
And they were all clear, so why keep doing it?
Yeah, and you're still here. And this is stunning, Joseph. This should be shouted from the rooftops, and nobody will hear about it. It's like that study that they did on breast cancer that Standard Process can't even hand out anymore, which just kind of blows my mind. The one on cruciferous complete. This was done.
Oh, yes. Yeah, lowering the bad estrogens and raising the good. Yes.
This was women that had already had breast cancer, and they gave them just 3 cruciferous complete a day, and it dropped their chances of getting breast cancer again by 500%.
Yeah, 500%. It was remarkable. They didn't even realize it.
When they did on CNN for years and years and years, it absolutely. It's like, are we living in Crazyville? Yeah. I mean, that's why we started the podcast, Forbidden Doctor. I mean, this is Crazyville. You had incurable cancer, and you're here however many years later, as healthy as can be, helping so many people. Jack, I don't know if you know, he does these 3 podcasts a week for free. He doesn't get paid for them. It just blows me away I wish the whole world could hear them, but they can't because there's some private information that's talked about on those podcasts because it's just with clinicians.
Well, they're not open to the public because it's just doctors.
We've gone on for quite a while.
We will try to get the information out to everybody from what.
Well, Mary, you've been a voice crying in the wilderness about iodine. That is so crucial. Mm-hmm. Iodine is such an important mineral. Just to take that one example of disinfecting the blood, but also killing rogue cells.
Yes.
A doctor had called me about they have a friend of theirs in Russia where this nuclear rocket blast blew up, and these people are all exposed to this radioactive iodine. Well, if you give them iodine, and you can look it up on Google, when they want to destroy your thyroid, they give you radioactive iodine, which kills the thyroid, but it also kills all the other cells too, because it's radioactive. But and they admit right there in Google, if you take the iodine, it will selectively kill the bad cells, but not the good. So
it's barbaric what we do.
It's insane. Yeah. But, the use of iodine is so important in maintaining, good health. But you've been a great spokesperson for that. So,
well, that's good.
Well, we're trying. And, I'd love you to say just a little bit about the Heart Sound Recorder, because
that's what I want to get into.
I know it's your passion.
Oh, sure. Yes.
In this last segment here for this podcast, we have learned so much from Joseph regarding the Heart Sound Recorder, a little bit of its origin, its evolution, and where people, by the time you're through talking about this, people are going to want to get a scan. We have one in our clinic, but we want to know where they could go, maybe on the internet, to find where there might be one near them.
Now, before we do that, though, Joseph, before we talk more about it, I want to bring up the free symptom survey that we offer on our homepage at forbiddendoctor.com. It is the most comprehensive survey you'll ever take anywhere. It has tons of questions. Yes. And after you're done, you have the opportunity to have a free 30-minute phone consultation, and you'll be given a personalized protocol. This is all for free. So this saves you money in the long run because you're not taking supplements you don't need, and all of it, no charge to you. So go to our website, forbiddendoctor.com, and take the free symptom survey. Okay, now we paid the bills a little bit.
Yes,
well, go ahead. That has to do with the history that you were saying, that one of the things that Mrs. Lee supported was the symptom survey form. And that was developed by Dr. Lee before he passed away, and a rep in Dallas, Leo Roderford. And that really is the most extensive look at that you can have of your entire system.
Wow.
Your digestion, your heart, your endocrine, your autonomic nervous system, your digestive system. That what you're doing with that is really tremendous. Because I still teach to this day. You run an HSR, Heart Sound Recorder, and you fill out the symptom survey form.
Yeah. And Dr. Lee's wife lived to what, 101?
I think it was 103, but she was up there. Yeah, she was definitely
going to work every day, right? She just didn't show up for work one day.
Yes. Well, I think, yes, she had, toward the end, she wasn't as well, obviously, with that age, but I'm not sure about that. You may have heard that story. That might be correct. I just don't know of that.
Oh,
but the Heart Sound Recorder is just, it's all over the United States now, and it is such a great way we're not diagnosing, as Jack said earlier, anything. We're not diagnosing heart. We are using the heart as a window to look at the entire system, all the body systems. And because, remember, the heart receives the nutrition first.
Right.
It also receives the chemicals first. So you can run one of these graphs, and then you can see yourself, and the practitioner will help you understand it, the direction you are heading. You could say, well, I love to drink alkaline water. Okay, well, come in, have a graph run, drink the water, and run it again. You'll see how the heart responds. And it's not subjective. This is exact science. You can see, because if you know what the balance is, the normal heart rhythm is, then you see if you're upsetting or not. Whatever you're taking.
Yeah.
So
your
this
synthetic vitamin B's, come and run a graph with that.
That's right. That's right. And keeping the heart healthy is the indicator that the body is healthy.
Yeah.
Now, so that's the work we've been doing, and all someone has to do is go to their local practitioner. Then the practitioner would contact us, and we can give them who has the heart sound recorder in their area. And there's there's at least 500 that I know of that have been sold across the United States now. So
where do they find the practitioner? How do they do that?
So if they go to their chiropractor,
okay,
and they ask them, the chiropractor can contact us. So our website, we don't list all the practitioners, though. That's a very good idea. I should have done that.
That'd be good.
Ask people permission, and we could put it on our website as to where they are. Maybe we'll make that step in the next few weeks here.
Yeah, we have it on our clinic, and it's very inexpensive, but poor Carrie's just overwhelmed with the
Yeah, I have a very interesting article. It's just a paragraph. They're saying now that the heart is an endocrine gland. And the hormone, this hormone that they found, a couple, exerts its effect on the blood vessels, on the kidneys, and adrenal glands, and on a large number of regulatory regions in the brain. It is also found that the heart contains a cell known as intrinsic cardiac adrenogenic. These cells release noradrenaline and dopamine neurotransmitters, once thought to be produced only by neurons of the brain. More recently, this is what I really wanted to share with you. More recently, it was discovered that the heart also secretes oxytocin, commonly referred to as the love or bonding hormone.
Yes.
In addition to its function in childbirth and lactation, recent evidence indicates that this hormone is also involved in cognition, tolerance. Do you think we need tolerance in this world?
Mm.
Adaptation, complex sexual and maternal behaviors, learning social cues, and the establishment of ending pair bonds. Concentrations of oxytocin in the heart were found to be as high as those found in the brain.
Wow.
Do you think you need to keep your heart healthy?
Wow, I had no idea.
What do we say? Listen to your heart. Trust your heart.
Yeah.
Keep your heart open.
And
in this world the way it is. But without good nutrition, how can that be possible?
Yeah.
So
break it down so you can feed the heart.
So this work that we're doing when we started out a few years ago has expanded. And the main thing is it has changed people's lives.
Yeah.
If you want to find out the direction you're heading in, have a heart sound recorder run. Take the nutrition that's recommended, then have one run again. Yeah. Or the food regime. If you don't agree that, I'm going to drink my alkaline water, as I said, check it out. The heart reveals all of this.
Okay, so if we're going to do a pre and post check, for example, we would do a baseline, especially whether they've got a history of heart sound recorder information or not. We would pick a time for a baseline, and then we would have them do what it is they're going to do, and then wait 30 minutes before they would do a second test?
You could do that, or just have them come back in if they want to say change their food. If you wanted to know what we talked about earlier, is the paleo diet good for me?
Mm-hmm.
Is the ketogenic diet? Is the GAPS diet? Well, you run the graph, you have them do it for 2 weeks, I would give it that, or even a week, then come back in. And you can use that, as you say, the baseline, the foundational graph, and see how they're doing. Yes. So it's truly such a great modality or tool to observe.
Yeah, when you consider, you were talking about how the heart was the first organ to get nourishment and also oxygenated blood, mind you.
Right.
It would be a great indicator of immediate changes taking place in the body's nutritional status.
Yeah.
So that if someone wanted to do, should I have alkaline water? Should I have less sugar? Should I cut back on coffee or alcohol, or should I start eating more raw foods or whatever else?
Yes.
The heart will tell you one way or the other, and it can indicate it very quickly.
That's right. This is
invention too.
Just the principles of how the heart. Let me just give you this one simple example. The heart, the way nature designed the heart rests twice as long as it works. Think of that. Your heart is asleep twice as long as it's at work.
Or it should
Now,
be.
how would we all like to live our life? I'm going to sleep 2/3 of the day. Wouldn't that be amazing? We actually should. So that work to rest ratio tells you this. Am I in defense physiology or am I in healing physiology? It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Am I healing or am I coming apart? Am I in the, is the spiral of life in my body moving up or is it moving down? It doesn't just go around the circle. It's going one way or the other. So this is the indicator through the heart sound recorder tells you far more than it appears. And especially, as I say, that direction the person is heading.
All right, Joseph, we're going to kind of wrap this up. Maybe you've got a couple of gems or a couple of things you might want to add to the end of our conversation here, because we have gone on quite a while. As good as it is, great content, great information, easy for anybody who is just being introduced to these ideas for the first time to understand and appreciate. But let's kind of move towards a closure here.
Sure. Well, I think what we've looked at today is so crucial in the sense of our continued journey together. And certainly those listening are most welcome to join us on this journey, not only in what we eat, but how we exercise and the supplements that we take and what we put into our body temples and what we expose ourselves to in our environment. All of these things are so important that not only do we live a long life, which we can't always control, but we can live a healthy life. But as they're seeing now about the heart, that we live in happiness, that we truly are loving people. We're people that we are tolerant of one another. We can cope with the challenges of this lifetime in this world. And so this work that we do goes far beyond just handing someone supplements. We are literally changing people's lives for the better. And I appreciate you both so much for the work that you do. So,
Joseph.
Well,
Yeah.
Back at you, buddy.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Well, this seems kind of crass to say this.
No, but we have to pay the bills.
Yeah, many of you may be finding us for the first time. So keep in mind the protocols on our website and what we're talking about are only available to logged-in users. But you can create an account instantly by taking our free, no-obligation symptom survey. And I just wanted to get that out there one more time, because not to get more patients or more clients or anything like that. This truly can be a life-saving symptom survey where you will start on the journey of slowly turning your life around. So I would recommend everybody going to our forbiddendoctor.com and taking the survey that I just found out that Dr. Royal Lee wrote. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Dr. Royal Leaf also, the heart sound recorder came from Dr. Royal Lee's inventions, the endocardiograph machine. So I'd just like to say the statements made in this podcast about specific products have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. All information provided or any information contained on or in any product label or packaging or this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professionals. And Joseph, thank you so much for being on. And thank you for listening to this Forbidden Information and our Forbidden podcast. And join us next time for another in-depth discussion of forbidden knowledge. And we will see you then.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you. Blessings to you all.
Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Doctor podcast. If you are curious about long life energy enzymes or ageless thyroid, you can purchase them without a membership from our website at forbiddendoctor.com or get our enzyme formula from Amazon.com by searching the full term Long Life Energy Enzymes. Don't forget to take our obligation-free symptom survey to get a free personalized supplement protocol recommended for you by Dr. Jack, Mary, or one of our qualified nutritionists. Take the survey, get a call from our nutritionist to create a protocol and a patient login, then use that login to see your own personal protocol along with any favorites you've saved from our symptom library. Remember, our website and our clinic are here for you always.